It means, it means that, so I think we just started over here. In order to keep fluidity and if that happened or not, I'm just going to go back to the beginning. To have good health, you must heal. So the etymology of health is wholeness, a whole being, sound or well. It means holy or sacred. A physical health means prosperity, happiness, welfare, preservation, safety. So to have health is to uphold your wholeness in a sacred or holy way. I loved the definition of health, going back to holy or sacred, like keeping your wholeness sacred. Your ability to be whole literally has been there since birth, because we are literally birthed into this world in a state of wholeness. And I guess, that a lot of times can go into your definition of birth. Like some people say we're born in a sin. I believe that we're born in love and in wholeness. Babies are, by nature, they're not sinful. They're whole. They literally, all when we are born into this world, all we need is a little bit of love, some hugs, and some food, and a clean booty. Like, we are very basic in our needs. And that in itself presents a nature of wholeness, because when you are whole, you really don't need much. I'm going to go ahead and share. And so when we are whole beings, we are we're happy, we're in a loving state. Um, the wholeness of us, it just really brings to the sense that we're aligned with our divine purpose. There's not much that needs to occur. We're whole in ourselves. And that state of being in itself is very sacred. And to go on a journey to health, you are literally upholding a sacredness to your wholeness. And so I'm going to share this really quick. On a Wellness Wednesday. Maybe I should type out this first so that I'm only pasting it while I'm on camera. That could be a thing. Give me 1 second, y'all. Okay. Share, write a post, join us for Wellness Wednesday. Yeah, I gotta do better next time. And so that way I'll only be posting this like copy paste. That makes so much more sense. Duh. All right, so back to it. So your journey to health is literally your journey to your sacred wholeness. So we were born with our health intact, our state of wholeness intact. In this human life, the older we get, the more we kind of realize that our humanness is journeying back to this life where we feel whole. It's literally our job to thrive in order to get back to the state of being, like us being whole. And so this life's assignment literally is to heal, because to get back to the state of wholeness literally is the definition of heal. So I looked up the etymology of heal, and it's cure, save, to make whole, sound, and well, to heal or to cold. To heal or to cure. That's it, cold. So it's literally, the act of healing is literally to make whole. So we are literally journeying back to ourselves. That is our job as being humans, is to journey back to our state of divine wholeness. And my mind was blown. This is literally telling us that our job as humans is to heal. What? Our job as humans is literally to heal so that we can get back to our state of being whole. And I was questioning, like, what does this journey really mean, right? Like, how do we heal? And literally, in our state of wholeness, being born as babies, everything that we go through in our life, it comes from the relationship with our mother and father. So if we're able to heal this relationship, we're literally going back to our state of wholeness, because in this life as humans, we only get away from ourselves because we're born to other humans who are on a journey to their wholeness. And so they teach us all of the chopped and screwed things that they learn in their journey in trying to assist us with ours. My mind was just so blown, because we're literally born to two people who are on their own journey to heal, and they're trying to at the same time assist us in our journey to heal. And so if we can look at it like this, it's easy to see, like, there's a lot of complicated things that can go into this, right? And we can see how our sense of being is literally tied into two people who are not us, which creates so many different complex variables in our identity to who we are. So in this, I started look like I went down a whole little rabbit hole, but it all made so much sense. So in our journey to heal, I started looking at the relationship of the mother and the father, because if we are to heal, we're literally having to heal these relationships of our parents. We have to literally go back and look at what's going on in these relationships, because we're born to a mother and a father, right? And so our mother on this earth, she's literally, like, it's so beautiful that a woman is literally brave enough to birth a child. Like, she literally sacrifices her body for almost a year in order to bring a whole baby into this plane of existence. And her body will literally override its system and take care of the baby before her. So to bear a child into this world, like, no matter how crazy you feel like your mom is, or like if your mom doesn't like connect with who you are as a person, no matter any of that, she literally still sacrificed her body for you to even make it into this plane of existence. So while she's doing that, she's going through her whole journey of healing her dang on self. And so this is not to be like looked over. Like, we're supposed to, in our journey to heal, we're supposed to literally uphold this woman who was able to, for almost a year. And really, it's more than a year, because when we're babies, when we're first born, we need our mom for everything, like literally everything. She feeds us, or puts our diapers on. And if it's not our mother, it is usually a maternal light. So, and we have to still give thanks for this mother being, because whoever did that for us as newborns would never be able to do it without the mother. So she gives up almost a year of her life to make sure that we go from seed to like a blossoming flower out in this world. And no matter what on my journey to heal, what I'm realizing is that no matter what happens after I get into this plane of existence, whether I feel heard or not, it is my job um to reverence the woman who brought me here, because she's going through her own stuff by herself. And in my belief, children actually choose their parents. And so I think that a lot of having children for a woman is a physical expression of what she needs in her journey to heal. But that's like another conversation, right? Like that's on the other side of the wall. But in this beautiful way, your journey to health is literally looking at your sense of pride in yourself and the patterns that you have developed along the way to get you where you are now. And in this journey, it's imperative that we look at our sense of wholeness in this way, because that, in a lot of ways, in order to bring a sense of wholeness within yourself, you have to heal the relationship with your mother and father. So let me put this together for you. It's because it's so beautiful. So your sense of pride in who you are is literally directly related to your mother. Is directly related to how much you believe that you truly matter in this world. And if we look at what matter is, it's to be of importance or consequence. It means origin, the source, which is the mother. And so the role of the mother in your life is actually to ensure that her actions that bring consequences in your life assist you in feeling important. She's the original source of you feeling like you matter. So the role of the mother consequently is to bring you into this earth and to nurture a sense of importance within you, a sense of knowing that you matter as a child, which is an interesting job because a lot of our mothers aren't grounded in the sense that they matter. And what happens when that happens is that you get a woman who does her best, but when you don't have a sense that you matter in this world, it's really, really hard to instill that sense in a child. And so they do their best, but essentially the job always in some way can be looked at as incomplete or not whole. It's hard to bring a sense of wholeness to a being when you're still journeying to find your sense of wholeness. And that's where, in our journey to heal, we must reverence our mother and know that she did everything she could, but in a real sense of nurturing a sense of wholeness within a child, you really have to have a sense of wholeness in yourself. And so you and your mom are literally journeying to health together. It's like a team dynamic duo. And so this is where we start to find the importance of understanding that our mothers are human. And when you understand that, that's when you can begin to heal. Because the human experience is literally to heal. So if we understand that our mothers are human and they're going on their very own journey, it's easier to understand how we can forgive them for doing anything that they did. And I mean, some people have tragic stories with their moms. Some people are blessed to have mothers who care enough to try their best to assist us in the journey. And that in itself is a blessing. But even when you have a mother who seems like she never understands you, she never had the ability to make you feel like you matter. She never listened to your voice. She never was even around for you to even question these thoughtful, deep thought things. She wasn't even there. It's that much more important for us to realize that she's just a human on her journey to heal. And in that space, that's when we can forgive all of the things that don't align with us as humans in this story that we have of our lives to get to where we are now. And so the same thing can go with our fathers. The patterns that you have developed in your life are called habits, right? So our habits are literally a design that's corresponding in an outline to serve as the guide to your life. So to put that simple, our habits are literally the outline of where our life is going. Now, if you look at your habits that you have had until now, you can see the outline of how you have gotten to where you are now. So to say if you have a habit of waking up and being grateful, you will see the outline of your life today in a state of abundance, because gratitude allows spirit to know that we are grateful for what we have, and gratitude makes what we have into enough, and that therefore we get abundance from gratitude, because abundance is literally spirit saying, what, you can handle more. And so if I'm grateful for what I have now, I'm telling the universe I can handle more. So the universe is like, bet, let me send you this abundance. That's how gratitude magically turns what we have not just into enough, but into more. Gratitude turns our life into abundance. So by way of that, your habit of being grateful will outline your present into being abundant. Now, if you have not had a habit of gratitude previously, you can start a habit of gratitude now and outline your future into abundance. That is the exact way that we manifest things. It's such a beautiful cycle. But anyway, so going back to patterns, your patterns are your habits, and your habits outline and your habits are an outline of where your future self is going. And if you look at your past, you can see that the habits are an outline to where you are today. All right. So this all comes from patterns. Now, the word pattern, actually, its etymology comes from patron. And a patron is the one who advances and encourages the cause or work of something. And this usually is by means of a person's wealth or power. So the skill of creating habits to ensure your wealth as a person is the role of your patron, which is your father, your paternal side. Patron, the etymology of that comes from pat pat patre, saying that wrong, but that person is the patre. Anyway, that's where paternal comes from, which is your father. So the skill of creating habits to ensure your wealth as a person is literally the role of your father. That's what your father is there for, to create patterns in your life to make sure that you are wealthy, you are in tune with your power and your wealth in this life. So since we are born to humans in this life, we must be able to regain our sense of self in the midst of being raised by people who are in different spots in the same journey as they try to help us. Because if we think about most of our fathers, especially in the Black community, they're not in tune with they're not like secure in their wealth, and they're not secure in their role of power in life. We see that with a lot of our Black men, just as we see in women. Like a lot of Black women have been disconnected from this feeling of wholeness, this feeling of importance. A lot of Black women, we have that conversation of feeling of worthiness, feeling of importance. And it's because we're born to humans who are on their own journey to heal and try to find these things themselves. And so we see how these humans, I won't say it's impossible, but it's a damn hard job to ensure these things in little people. So looking at it like this is such a beautiful journey, because it's so easy to see how this beautiful journey is easily blissful and or fucked up in the process of depending on another person to cultivate this within inside of yourself. It's like it's beautiful, it's blissful at times, it's fucked up at times. And some people are blessed to have more bliss than fuckery. And then some people are still blessed to have more fuckery than bliss, because without all of the fuckery of this process of healing to be a human, we wouldn't be exactly who we are today. And so understanding this fundamental, like very complex theory of healing and being a human, you can understand how to process emotions better, because everything in your life was literally on the foundation of a person who was on their own journey to heal. And they literally couldn't give you everything that you need because you're your own person. I was listening to TD Jakes one day, and I loved what he said, because this put my parents into perspective for the first time. But he said that the job and role of your parents is to birth a child who's greater than them. So you're a 10-gallon child, and your parents are like, you probably have like a 3-gallon parent and like a 5-gallon parent. That still makes 8 gallons. And it's still always going to be some gallons that are felt like they're empty surrounding your parents, because you are greater than them. They came together to make a sum that was greater than what they could ever even fathom. So the best way we can bring ourselves back to this state of wholeness is to heal the foundational emotions that we have felt over the process of our parents finding themselves in the midst of raising us. And once we're able to heal, we can understand that the act of healing is literally finding enough compassion for yourself to love yourself in any state of being. Because once you have compassion, that's where we find love. And in order to have love for anyone else, we have to have it for ourselves. Love always is going to bring you back home. True love is filled with compassion. True love is compassion. And so once we're able to truly love ourselves, to have compassion for ourselves, it will exude, we'll exude that same compassion for everyone else in our lives. And really, to hit it home, we have to start with our parents. A life flowing in love and abundance, a true state of divine sacred alignment, is that in which we can have compassion for ourselves. And in order to have compassion for ourselves, we have to have love and compassion for our source, which are our parents. And that literally is our journey to health, literally. And we have to do it in so many different ways, because of course we have to look at health holistically. And so when we look at maybe how our parents ate, right? Like that sense of like sense of pride and eating. Oh my God, like you should be prideful of what you put into your body. But if you're taught by a woman that, pork ribs are a sense of pride, and then you're taught by a man with your patterns that, you can eat until you're full every day. Like these two people, their sense of food, it was what it was, and it might not align to your divine wholeness. But we're taught what they have to give us, those 8 gallons. And from those 8 gallons, we can begin to heal and go back to what our wholeness is. My wholeness in food is fruits, is vegetables, it's spring water, it's being light and not eating until I'm stuffed. It's snacks that were made by God and not gone through this process of whatever the fuck they do with this food. I don't identify my wholeness with that, but my parents do. That on their journey to healing, they still identify with eating flesh and sometimes eating dairy, and that's okay. I can have compassion for them. That is what my journey to healing is. That's what your journey to healing is. Understanding what your divine sacred wholeness is and being able to not only show compassion to your parents for showing you their way, but having gratitude and forgiving them for not recognizing that their sense of wholeness didn't align with yours. I mean, that's a huge thing. And once you're there, you can truly live in your alignment of divine wholeness. Um, it's such a beautiful, but it's so like the journey is treacherous, okay? But it's so beautiful once we can connect these dots and really live in our truth. Um, it's so beautiful, but it's hard because you have to learn how to process emotions, to process the fact that you could possibly have felt like you didn't matter growing up, that you had to go through things and you didn't feel loved and you didn't feel nurtured and you didn't know what habits to have in order to get to a life that you felt was successful or, wealthy. It's voids in the journey, that we have to go through feeling unloved, not feeling like we have compassion, like being hard on ourselves. And we have to understand that when we get to the light of why we're like this, it goes directly back to our relationships to our mothers and fathers. But we have to have compassion for them because they're on the same exact journey. And if you don't have compassion for your mother, the very person who brought you here, who sacrificed her body and brought you into this plane existence, if you can't have compassion for a woman that would do this, there's no way you can have compassion for yourself. If you can't have compassion for a man who in whatever moment attached himself to a woman and injected his seeds inside of her so that you're here in whatever capacity. If you can't have compassion for him, then it's really hard to have compassion for your habits, to have compassion for yourself, for why you don't get up and exercise. That's why you're being so hard on yourself, like going to the gym and drinking water and the food that you eat. You can't have compassion for your habits because you have not forgiven your father. And it's really crazy that we have to go through life and these things never connect, but they do connect. They matter in each other. So to just go back to the original thought so that we can put it together. Today's subject was, to have good health, you must heal. Your health is a state of wholeness, a being that is whole. It is holy. It is sacred. A physical health literally means prosperity, happiness, welfare, preservation, and safety. So to have health is to uphold your wholeness in a sacred and holy way. You were literally born with your wholeness intact. And on this human journey, our one job is to thrive to achieve a state of being a whole state. And in order to do that, to have wholeness in our health, we must heal. And it's a good place to start to healing the relationship with your mother and your father so that you can have a better sense of how important you are in this world and a better sense of security with your habits. So I hope my rabbit hole brought you clarity or maybe like an aha moment. Aha! Because I have had so many aha moments in just this one thought. In just this one thought. And I just thought it was so beautiful how it ties all the way into this journey of healing. To have good health, you must heal. So thank you. Thank you so much for your time and your love, your energy, your compassion for sticking around for me to share with you this thought that has become this thing in my life. And know that I will be here next week, same time, same place on Wellness Wednesdays. Thank you. See you next week. Toodles.